The Detroit Lions have the number 3 overall pick. Some say they should draft a quarterback. I don't think that makes any sense at all. Matthew Stafford is the franchise quarterback in Detroit. He's great. I think he's criminally underrated. I think you got to build around Matthew Stafford. Now, some people say that the Detroit Lions should trade down. We'll talk about that in a minute. But pretty much every mock draft and pretty much every person out there is saying that the Lions should draft Jeff Okudah, the corner from Ohio State. He was the best corner in college football last year. He's phenomenal. Truly, he's a great corner. When I watch him, I go, oh, I get it. Yeah, he's dang good. So the Lions have a couple options here. Number one, if somehow miraculously Chase Young, the defensive end out of Ohio State, if Chase Young fell into their lap, let's say the Bengals take a quarterback, the Redskins take a quarterback, oh, Chase Young is still available, draft him. In a heartbeat, don't look back. But I don't see that happening at all. There's no way I think that Chase Young falls out of the top 2 picks. I think it's more likely the Lions are either going to draft Jeff Okudah, the corner out of Ohio State, who, look, makes sense. If the Lions draft Jeff Okudah, absolutely phenomenal. Or they could trade down. Especially if 2 quarterbacks are off the board immediately, a team's going to want to. I think you could possibly trade down because the Dolphins have the 5th overall pick, the Chargers have the 6th overall pick, and so if a team behind them wants to move up and leapfrog those 2 teams, the Lions are a good option to trade down. But they can't really go wrong here. Either trade down to get your team more draft picks, and then even like if the Chargers, for example, want to leapfrog the Dolphins and take the guy they want and not leave it a chance for the Dolphins, then the Lions would still be the 6th overall pick. They could probably still get Jeff Okudah if they wanted to. So I don't know. I will say this. If Jeff Okudah was a quarterback or a defensive end, I would say do not trade down. You need a quarterback, you need a defensive end. A corner, a defensive back, is not quite as valuable as a quarterback or as a defensive end. So if the Lions said, you know what, we're going to trade down, get more draft picks, and we have now 2 first-round picks or a first-round pick in 3 seconds or who knows, whatever the deal is, I think that would make sense to me because Jeff Okudah could be a long-time starter in the NFL, a great corner, a shutdown guy, phenomenal. He's going to have less impact than Chase Young or a quarterback would, and so he's not as important. But again, if the Lions draft Jeff Okudah, love it, totally happy. The other option is to keep drafting offensive linemen. But I think the Lions are going to draft Jeff Okudah. That makes a lot of sense to me because he's the best. After Chase Young, he's the best defensive player available. And they could use a corner, and they have a defensive-minded head coach. And so I see the Lions either drafting Jeff Okudah or trading down. Neither's a bad option to me, and that's what I would do. In case you don't know, Strong Opinion Sports is not just a YouTube channel. It is also a full audio podcast. You can find it on Spotify, on iTunes, on Google Play, pretty much everywhere you find podcasts. And if you like podcasts, please do me a huge favor and give it a listen.